Brandin Cooks was traded to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, why is that newsworthy for Chiefs Kingdom? With the Kansas City Chiefs having rumors of trading for DeAndre Hopkins, this trade could have implications on any future trade for any wide receivers. But before we do get in all of that, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, as I'm going to keep you up to date on anything Kansas City Chief related that you do not want to miss out on. And without further ado, let's have some fun. Who would have thought? As yesterday was very newsworthy, as it was the last day of the first week of NFL free agency. Normally we don't get news popping off on Sunday, but yesterday we had a trade with Brandin Cooks. We had another wide receiver fall off the market. Gives Chiefs Kingdom some pause, some panic, because they want a veteran presence, and that may be on the horizon. But the first topic of conversation I want to discuss is we're going to be killing off one of the smallest Kansas City Chiefs Kingdom dreams, and it's Laramie Tunsil. Chiefs Kingdom, we was hoping, we was praying, with the news coming out before the offseason that once the Kansas City Chiefs didn't tag Odell Beckham Jr., that we were all led to believe, and what happened is that Odell Beckham will not be a part of the Kansas City Chiefs moving forward. So how would they answer that hole? And then the rumors came up about Laramie Tunsil and that the Kansas City Chiefs were heavily interested in getting him via trade. It didn't happen. They ended up signing Jawaan Taylor. He should be making the move from right tackle to left tackle. And to officially kill that dream off, Laramie Tunsil did sign a 3-year extension, making him the highest paid left tackle in the league because he plays like the highest paid left tackle in the league. I ain't trying to throw shots off like that, but his play is worthy of the contract. And when you play good, you deserve to get paid. Also, I kind of want to address the offensive line and mostly the left tackle position just in general, because it seems to leave Chiefs Kingdom in pause and also the NFL media in pause, because now people are speculating that the Kansas City Chiefs might fall off next year because their offensive line won't be good. And pause, because they still got one of the best, if not best, interiors on the O-line. And also, I want to basically close any doors or any thoughts that everyone is loving Odell Beckham Jr. and saying that that is now a huge hole and the Kansas City Chiefs will fill that. Maybe the name of the player is getting the recognition, but the play of the player wasn't that great at all last year. Actually, for the most part of 2 years, it was very inconsistent at best. Honestly, the last 2 years are fairly similar to where he struggled early portions and then he starts kicking it into December and he plays a good playoff run and Super Bowl, which I'm very thankful, and I appreciate that playoff and Super Bowl run he had because we definitely needed it. But I'm not going to ignore the 17 games either. He got paid like a top 16 left tackle because that's where his play is. Honestly, I'm not trying to be skeptical or just going after him. He may be a top 16, top 20 guy, but he definitely didn't deserve top 5 pay, and he definitely didn't deserve top 10 pay. So for people thinking, oh, well, now the Kansas City Chiefs has a hole at left tackle. They've always had a hole. Just because you had a name that everyone knows there doesn't mean it was filled, because it was very inconsistent play. And we do not know what Jawaan Taylor will bring in the future. He may be able to make that transition smoothly. He may struggle. The Kansas City Chiefs may draft a left tackle, but all those options can still be better than Odell Beckham. A lot of people are scared right now because it's the unknown, and the unknown catches everyone off guard because they feel like when it's unknown, you're going in the wrong direction. And that's not true, because like I mentioned, Odell Beckham Jr. is not elite. Just face the facts. It is what it is, and you can easily find a replacement for that, and we will find out in training camp, in preseason, and when the regular season comes about, what this left tackle position is going to be. And also, with the O-line, with the wide receiver room, which we're going to discuss later, this is still March. It's mid-March. This roster is going to look different than when it does kickoff Thursday when the Kansas City Chiefs take the field. So all those worries, those questions will have answers. Just calm down. Everything will be fine. Veach always has an answer. As we always mention, it's in Veach we trust, and he builds the best players and builds this roster up. He gets those right core players. He may not make those big, sexy free agent moves that we all want, but he makes the correct move. So have patience. everything will work out fine. As we transition to why we're even here, it's because Brandin Cooks was traded to the Dallas Cowboys. As I mentioned to start this video, this could have big implications on a potential DeAndre Hopkins trade, whether it be with the Kansas City Chiefs, whether it be with any other rumored team as well. This basically sets the guideline because Brandin Cooks, he's a solid receiver. He may not be a big name like DeAndre Hopkins, but the production has matched. And the value that the Dallas Cowboys traded to get Brandin Cooks was a 5th round this year and a 6th round next year. Why is that important? Because the Arizona Cardinals are demanding, well, I don't want to say demanding because it makes it seem like they're holding you at gunpoint, but they're requesting a 2nd round pick and a feature player. And if you look at what Brandin Cooks got, it seems like the Arizona Cardinals deal is rich. It seems like the Arizona Cardinals are just focusing on the brand of DeAndre Hopkins and what he can be. And it's true. When someone trades for him as well, whether it be the Kansas City Chiefs, New England Patriots, Baltimore Ravens, they're trading for DeAndre Hopkins not for what he did last year. They're trading for the potential of he can be a top 5 receiver again. But also, potential is a huge word, specifically when you're going for someone who was off last year with suspension and who has had injuries prior as well and is now 30. You're not going to get a 2nd round pick out of that. So there's got to have to be some budging with Arizona Cardinals, and if they're willing to do that, or if they want to stick to their guns and they want to hold on to DeAndre Hopkins and have him as an Arizona Cardinal for next year. But also, there's a point to where does DeAndre Hopkins want to be at Arizona Cardinals? Now, all these rumors are swirling everywhere, but we saw DeAndre Hopkins on the Pat McAfee show, and it seems like he knows he's going to be traded, but it's not like he was demanding to be traded. He was just basically like, whatever happens, happens. So we don't know if he wants to be a Cardinal, and if the Cardinals hold on to him, if he'd be happy with that, or if he hears that the Cardinals are sticking to their guns, he's like, no, get me out of here. Like, I will hold out. We don't know what kind of path this road will take in the future, but if he does go that way, they're going to have to sweeten the deal whatsoever. And honestly, I've seen deals on social media from Chiefs Kingdom saying, what about a 3rd round pick and maybe a guy like CEH? And that would be a deal I think would be really well too. Or a 3rd round pick and a 4th round pick. I really find it highly unlikely that the Cardinals get a 2nd round pick from anyone, but you never know. Someone can easily buy the name of DeAndre Hopkins and be sold right away. And also, another thing that this Dallas Cowboys and Brandin Cooks deal helps out with is it takes another suitor out of the DeAndre Hopkins, if you want to call it, sweepstakes. Because Dallas Cowboys were one of the teams heavily mentioned to be favorite with the Kansas City Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens, and now you can add the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills. Actually, the Jets aren't in this one. They will be in the following player that I will discuss. But also, I mentioned the Dallas Cowboys and the Kansas City Chiefs, to me, were the most favorable ones because they have legit contention Super Bowl abilities. But if you wanted to go to the one who has been there and done it, it would be the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, if you want to go flashy, get your money, it would be the Dallas Cowboys. But now that they have Brandin Cooks, that is done. So I think now it's between the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs. And New England, they've been amping up. They've been adding firepower everywhere. You could tell Bill Belichick, he's tired of losing. He wants to get back in playoff contention and get back in a Super Bowl contention. It's just, how do you sway DeAndre Hopkins? How do you put a trade package in together? Also, does it affect that they sign Juju? All those are big, major implications going forward. So it seems like the sole suitor to me, and I'm not trying to be biased, but it's the Kansas City Chiefs. They got the ammo. They can create the draft capital. They can create cap space as well. It's how much does Brett Veach want to move up and trade for a guy like DeAndre Hopkins? We know Brett Veach is a guy who will stand his toes into the ground and you won't have him budging on anything. So the Cardinals will have to get closer to him. It'll be interesting to see how all of this plays out as well. And also, this has major implications on a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. because now he is out of the running to become a Dallas Cowboy, which all of us basically picked him to go there as well. And now it's just like, okay, maybe the Kansas City Chiefs do get Odell Beckham Jr. And I know that's not a Chiefs Kingdom favorite whatsoever. But as I mentioned many times on this channel before, is if you get a healthy Odell Beckham Jr., he doesn't have too much on his plate, and he's in this offense, it may be high shooting, but you can't tell me that he couldn't put up Juju numbers. And specifically, he wouldn't be the most dependable dependent one with a Travis Kelce, with Kadarius Toney, and yes, Kadarius Toney. Even when you add a guy like Odell Beckham Jr., I still believe the Kansas City Chiefs want to get the ball to Toney because he is a lethal threat on the field. But as I mentioned too, there will be other suitors. Like the Buffalo Bills have now interest. The Jets have interest because of the potential of Aaron Rodgers going there. So there's still other teams interested. It's just, what is Odell Beckham's price point? He tweeted out earlier that he doesn't want $20 million, but he doesn't want the $4 million that was seemed to be offered to him. Now, that seems like Brett Veach all day, every day with $4 million and incentives, but every team can do that as well. I think Odell needs to come out with this price point. Maybe not to the media. Maybe he's already done it out there to all the GMs and the coaches, but it seems like there's a huge gap because everyone out there saying $20 million, he doesn't want $4 million. There's got to be an in-between, but it's also got to be reasonable too. That's going to be another interesting domino to fall. I wonder what domino will fall first. Will it be the Odell Beckham one, or will it be the DeAndre Hopkins ones? If you ask Des Bryant, he feels they are both going to fall around the same time and that they will both be a Kansas City Chiefs. Now, that is shooting for the stars. I got to be smoking what he is on because that is highly unlikely. That is really unrealistic because the only way that could happen, which, hey, would be another big piece for the Kansas City Chiefs, is they extend Chris Jones and he is a Kansas City Chiefs for life with I am all for, which why has it not happened yet? Sign that man, Brett Veach. Get Stone Cold under contract and make him a Chief for life. But that is the only way the Kansas City Chiefs can open up cap space. If not, they restructure Toney, but that kind of puts them in a cap situation for future years. So I do not see him doing that for specific older vets as well. So that'll be interesting to see. I definitely don't believe Des Bryant's dream whatsoever. I do believe the Kansas City Chiefs can get one of those guys, but both, that'd be lethal. And that would be a lot of different personalities on the offense that I don't know if you want to mesh together whatsoever. Maybe one of those guys, yes, that would be really cool. Honestly, in my honest opinion on the DeAndre Hopkins or the Odell Beckham Jr. Sweepstakes is the Kansas City Chiefs can be heavily interested. The Kansas City Chiefs can try to pursue that and go that direction. But what I'm leaning towards now is they might not get either guy. I could be completely wrong. But we've seen what Brett Veach has done already. He likes the youth. He likes speed. He likes to make sure to mold and have someone for the future. Brett Veach is a future type of guy. So he could still trade for a wide receiver. But maybe now we got to start thinking the lines of, and what I have mentioned plenty times, of like an Elijah Moore, maybe a Deontay Johnson. Maybe you're swinging outside of the park for this one, but maybe it's possible for a Brandin Ayuk. Now, those rumors will start ramping up the closer we get to draft day, but those are three key guys who got youth on them who would fit the Kansas City Chiefs offense and would be a perfect connection for Patrick Mahomes. And I can see Brett Veach aiming for those type of trades if this doesn't pan out. He can be interested in a DeAndre Hopkins or an Odell Beckham Jr., but he won't offer the same kind of price that he will offer for a Brandin Ayuk, a Deontay Johnson, or an Elijah Moore because they got the youth on their side and they can fit this offense and have a future as well. You've seen it with Kadarius Toney last year in the trade. Everyone's like, ooh, a third-round pick and a sixth? Ain't that kind of rich? Look how he's meshing in this offense. When it's youth and when it's potential and they can have a future on this team, Brett Veach will spend that price. I don't know if he'll do it for an older veteran, but we will get answers here soon enough. Chiefs Kingdom, you let me know how you feel about these potential trades, potential signings, and how the Kansas City Chiefs will move forward. Before I do close this video off, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you did like this video, please give me that big thumbs up. I'm checking out. Y'all take care.